Now that we have like terms defined and we've covered a whole host of background information, we can actually get to combining like terms. Let's actually now do this. So we want complete simplification. So ultimately, we need to use the properties and definitions we looked at previously to simplify an expression like this. This is a big, ugly expression. It can be written in a simpler form. So our first move is going to be to convert subtraction to addition. So our first step is we're going to convert subtraction to addition. This up front here is not a subtraction, it's a negative sign. So we've got negative 3x squared plus 4x. Now this is minus 1. So instead we're going to write plus negative 1. Then we've got plus 2. And then in parentheses, we've got 3x minus 1, so that subtraction can be converted to addition as 3x plus negative 1. So we've first converted all the subtractions to addition. Second, we're going to use the distributive property if necessary. So we need to distribute this 2 into this sum here in the back. So let's rewrite everything else. We've got negative 3x squared plus 4x plus negative 1. And then we distribute this 2 in, we get plus 6x. And then plus 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. The final step in the process is to actually combine the like terms. But the way we combine like terms is we need to use the associative and commutative properties of addition. So now recall that addition and multiplication are both commutative and associative, and when we're combining like terms, we don't need to worry about multiplication. So addition is both commutative and associative, and of course division and subtraction are not. And specifically, subtraction is not. That's why we got rid of all the subtraction here. Because the beauty here with this is once you strictly have addition, the associative property combined with the commutative property essentially gives us license to move the terms wherever we want. For example, we can rewrite this as negative 3x squared plus 4x, and 4x is like the 6x, so I could write plus 6x, then plus negative 1, and then plus negative 2. Technically, I use both the commutative and associative properties at the same time without actually writing in any parentheses or anything like that to simply just reorganize this expression. And notice the way I reorganize it is I have like terms next to each other now. So there's nothing like the negative 3x squared, so we just got negative 3x squared plus, and then 4x plus 6x, those are like terms, they combine together to give us 10x. And then finally, plus negative 1 plus negative 2 is plus negative 3. We have successfully combined like terms to rewrite this expression in a simpler way. Please note here that you often won't see someone write plus negative 3. Instead, you'll more commonly see negative 3x squared plus 10x and then just minus 3, because plus negative 3 is the same thing as minus positive 3. However, you do not need to rewrite the expression in this way. These two things are completely equivalent. Let's now practice with a few more of these. Let's simplify each of the following expressions completely. We're going to first convert subtraction to addition. So we have x minus 7. That can be rewritten as x plus negative 7. And then we've got plus 5 times the 2x minus 1. That can be rewritten as 2x plus negative 1. So we've first converted the subtraction to addition. Again, the reason we're doing this is so that we can move the terms around however we want without getting into any trouble. Our second thing is to distribute. We've got 3 times the x is 3x, plus the 3 times the negative 7 is negative 21, plus, and then we got to use the distributive property again here. The 5 times the 2x is 10x, plus the 5 times the negative 1 is negative 5. And now, because this is all addition, we can move these terms around however we'd like, and we're not even necessarily going to want to actually rewrite this again. We might want to just simply combine the like terms from here. So for example, 3x and 10x are like terms, so 3x plus 10x, and again, it's all addition, so it's 3x plus 10x is 13x, and then negative 21 is like to negative 5, negative 21 plus negative 5 is negative 26, and again, it's plus negative 26 because everything was being added. This is a complete simplification of this expression. Again, you'll more often see someone write this though as 3x or 13x minus 26. Let's try another one. We've got this expression here. It's more complicated than it needs to be. The whole purpose of this is complete simplification. So let's convert these subtractions to addition. So we've got negative 6 times that difference in there could be rewritten as x plus negative 4. And then we've got minus this whole thing in the back. So that subtraction can be rewritten as addition, but you want to add on the opposite of 2 plus 3x. So the opposite of 2 plus 3x. And again, the opposite of an expression, the way you get that is by multiplying it by negative 1. So ultimately, we've converted this subtraction to adding negative 1 times the expression. So minus this expression is the same thing as plus negative 1 times that expression. We now want to distribute. That's our second move. We've got negative 6x plus negative 6 times negative 4 is 24. Plus, we've got to distribute in the negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Plus negative 1 times the 3x is negative 3x. And now we can combine the like terms. Negative 6x plus negative 3x is negative 9x. Plus 24 plus negative 2 is 22. We've got negative 9x plus 22. That is equivalent to the original expression, but as you can see, it's a much simpler form. And let's do this last one here. So first, we're going to convert the subtraction to addition. So this is 17 plus negative 3 times the quantity x plus 4, because again, this was minus 3 times that thing. So minus a positive 3 is the same thing as plus a negative 3 times the x plus 4. Second thing we're going to do is distribute in the negative 3 here. We've got 17 plus negative 3 times x is negative 3x, plus negative 3 times the 4 is negative 12. And as we go to combine like terms, people usually put the higher powers of the variable terms first. You don't have to. Let's just first write in the negative 3x. There's nothing like to that term in this particular expression right here. But then we can combine 17 plus negative 12, giving us plus positive 5. So we've got negative 3x plus 5 is equivalent to this expression here. Now that we've done a few examples of combining like terms, let's go all the way back to the initial example that motivated our discussion of how combining like terms works. So hopefully you recall, show that this expression right here and 14x minus 14 are equivalent expressions for all real values of x by simplifying this expression. So basically, we're going to take this, combine like terms, and get 14x minus 14. And we're going to, again, first convert the subtraction to addition, and then we'll use the distributive property, and then finally, we'll actually do the combining of the like terms. All right, so first, convert subtraction to addition. So we've got the opposite of negative 2x. Now that is minus 1, so plus negative 1. That subtraction can be rewritten as addition. And then minus 3 is the same thing as plus negative 3 times the 5 minus 4x. That's 5 plus negative 4x. So first notice that this and this, neither of those changed. Those were not subtractions. However, these three did change. Those were subtractions. Let's now use the distributive property. Of course, taking the opposite of this thing is the same thing as multiplying it by negative 1. So I got to distribute in a negative 1 here, which gives me negative 1 times negative 2x is positive 2x, plus negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then we have plus, we got to distribute the negative 3 in here. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15, plus negative 3 times negative 4x is 12x. And finally, we can now combine the like terms. 2x and 12x are like terms. 2x plus 12x is 14x, plus 1 and negative 15 are like terms. So 1 plus negative 15 is negative 14. This is the simplified version of this expression. And again, people often won't write the plus the negative number. Instead, they would write 14x minus positive 14. And you can see that is exactly what we said it was up here. And hopefully you can see the value of being able to do this. This is an ugly mess that does not need to be so complicated. It's simply the expression 14x minus 14.